Welcome to Digging Too Deep. I'm your host, Keith Robinson. And today I brought on a very special person. And y'all know I always say special. But again, this is not only special, but it's also endearing because he's from where I'm from, Wichita Falls, Texas. Stand up. I have someone who is a licensed optician, MBA, and he's also a guru in the age of Aquarius. So I would like to introduce, endearing to me is Dawu, but David, the fly optician Butler.
And
how you doing, brother?
Welcome, brother. Welcome, man. Thank you for inviting me, man. Thank you.
Thank you for blessing this set, man.
I appreciate it.
Now, I brought you on because we are doing a docuseries.
Okay.
As we spoke about.
Yes.
And the docuseries name is Recovering from His Story. And with you being a guru, being way ahead of the game, I'm talking decades of walking in the truth, so much to where we were in our hometown, they thought and called you and monitored and labeled you as crazy. But guess what? You actually were crazy like a fox.
Well, you have to be crazy when you go into the rabbit hole. One thing about going into the rabbit hole, it's crazy. Who gonna get in a hole that's built for rabbits? Right? And what I know and what I have learned over the years, just life experiences, man. When you start questioning your why, you have to question your why, because the why is the power of everything.
The why.
And error, think not just everything, error.
Error being A-R-R-O-R. Error.
There's a lot of error in your things that you have been taught.
Now, let me stop you right there. It's funny because, see, I want y'all to understand what he's saying. Everything we follow has error in it, has chaos in it, has confusion in it. It's called indoctrination. So the reason I brought this man on is because he has been outside of indoctrination. He's been outside of the matrix. Hence why I brought him on to talk about recovering from his story. Because he has not only been recovering, he's been doing it so long, he's actually recovered. Do I dare say that? So I want you to
have the audacity to say that, brother.
Well, you have to be bold in this, and that's why I brought you on, because I know you're very bold, and I want you to talk to these people about walking in what you had to walk through, regardless of what the construct said, regardless of what the people said, regardless of what they labeled you as. Tell these people from your experience, from your perspective of how you recovered from his story.
Well, first of all, let's talk about the word indoctrination.
Okay.
I mean, you're going inside. Doc, D-O-C, doctor, nated.
Okay.
Nation. So you inside of a thing that you was doctored on from the womb. Not only did your parents lie to you unconsciously,
unwittingly,
they didn't know. Your grandparents lied to you. Your great-great-grandparents lied to you because they was given the indoctrination. Yeah. They was given the indoctrination.
Through generations, through time, through story.
Of his story.
Of his story.
But what is his story? What it is to me is that in the beginning of time, men ruled the world. And men had battles with other men. But let's go back from the beginning. It was her story before it was his story.
Explain that.
What I mean by that is that in the beginning, we worship the womb, the family, the woman was the God. The woman, they worship the womb. The woman taught still right today. She teaches the first learning of a child. It's from the mother.
Now watch this.
Right out the womb.
Now watch this. Now what I've been studying, it has shown me that they took the female principle from us, the receiving principle, the understanding principle, which made us war at each other because now we have no understanding because they took that principle away from us.
That's true. But here's the deal. When they took Somehow man got jealous of the wound man.
And made it a
The
patriarch.
wound man. And then they started worshiping the phallus. And so what happened when they brought in iron, sharpened iron, they went to battle. You know, animals used to live in harmony with humans. I'm not talking about humans. I'm talking about H-U-E, man. Human. And when metal came into his story, that's when we became war. The wars with other tribes. War. It became history. Men battled. Men conquered. Men raped. Men privileged. Men took over.
Now, it's funny you say that because I saw that when two alpha animals battle, let's say two lions, one lion conquers the other lion, and he'd stand on top of that lion, and he'd roar and everything, but he didn't kill that lion. See, that was what made me think about that when you said when the iron was brought in, the mentality of finish you came in.
Well, you think they get the colloquial iron sharpens iron. So just like you just alluded to, when you conquer a man, you don't want to kill him.
Right.
You want to bring him to
You want him to submit.
this part, and he will submit. And you want to do it around other people so they will submit as well. Even this woman, even
yes, and
the
that,
women,
and
the
that
children,
was
his son.
That's
his
what
son will submit to
colonialization.
you.
That's what colonialization and Hellenization was all about. We go get the strongest one. We go get your orators. We go get the ones that know everything that is not written that they pass down. We kill them first, then we get the strongest one, and we break him in front of everyone.
So with history, his story, it went on from decades to generations to centuries. His story.
Indoctrination.
He won the war.
And so he gets to write the history.
But here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Okay.
You don't get to hear about her story, their story, our story. But wait, alas, but wait. Unless you go to the library where the lies are buried.
Woo! We're going to stop right there, y'all. And we're going to take a break. And we're going to pick right back up on the lie, L-I-E, brary, when we return after these messages on Digging Too Deep.
Alaskan made Arctic rain honey, raw honey, lotion bars, lip stuff, sweet and spicy relish. Honey that is pure and untamed as the Alaskan wilderness. Get yours today. Arctic rain honey.
Thank y'all for coming back. Appreciate you still staying tuned in to Digging Too Deep. When we left, Mr. Butler was alluding to the library, the L-I-E brary. Please expand on that.
Well, if you have any recollection of have you ever studied about the Library of Alexandria?
Okay.
They burnt it down. They burnt it down. So him to conquer can tell his story.
But I'm sure he kept the quite
They're not doing
big books, but burnt the rest.
Oh, it's in the Vatican, by the way.
As a matter of fact, I heard that burning was actually a deflection. Because they kept everything, but they wanted you to believe they burnt everything.
But that part is in the Vatican. They have all the books.
And the Vatican being the Roman Vatican, where there's an extensive 5, 10, 15 mile.
It's a city of its own.
It's a fortress.
Oh my God.
Sir.
Did you know back in his story, the popes were bigger than kings?
Come on.
Do you know that Pope in 1099, Pope Urban II started wars. And you know what the war was called? The Crusades.
Come on now.
Now the Crusades was the Islamic against Christian for Jerusalem.
And even today, you have to go to the black pope to get the blessing to go to war, right?
Listen to this. Abraham is the father of all Abrahamic religions. That's where you derive from Christianity, Islam, Torah. that Abraham had Isaac and had Ishmael. Isaac, the 12 tribes. Ishmael, Ishmael come from the Islamic side. They both got blessed.
Now watch the indoctrination. They said that Abraham was going to go sacrifice his first begotten, but his first begotten wasn't Isaac. Remember, it was with Hagar.
It was Ishmael.
Ishmael. Let's go. But so hold on. Before we go too far, I want to back you up. Right. Because you were talking about the library.
I did.
So I wanted to say, speaking of library, you are a 3-time book publisher.
Yes, I am.
And your latest publication is what?
The Audacity of Woke. W-O-K-E. Woke. And I say that unpolitically. Woke. Woke. Wake you up.
Because watch this. What my man is saying is this. See, a lot of us are woke, but some of us are woke, but we're still in the bed.
Let me tell you a little bit, segue into the reason why I wrote that book. This book was in the play for a long time in my life.
Okay.
And then even to put the word the audacity of woke, because the audacity of woke is about my life, what I've been through, things I've been through, but it's written in 7-year increments. It's written in 9 chapters. 7 is the number of completion. 9 is a magical number, because one thing about 9, when you do 9 times 2, what is that?
Okay.
18.
Yes.
But when you take it back to the singular code, it's 9. 9 times 3, 27. 9. 9 times 4. You see what I'm saying? 9 times 7, 63. Add it back up, 9. But
whoa. Do that again.
It's magic.
Do it again.
It's magic.
Because I didn't catch it to the 3rd example. So I want to make sure that the audience caught what you just
said. Let's take it 9, the magical number 9, back to its singular code.
Singular code 9.
9 times 2. What is that?
18.
8. 1 plus 8.
9.
9 times 5.
45.
What?
4 plus 5?
9.
9.
And you have to realize and understand that we're on the numerical number system from 0
You have to understand and understand, because you never say understand, because that binds you into a contract.
We've been under too long. We've been under too long. So now you have to enter. That's the only way you're going to come into this awareness. That's the only way you're going to come into this awakeness. To be woke, you have to go inside. And what's inside? All the indoctrination. The history. What is your history? So that's what my book is about.
Wait a minute. He asked you what is your history, which is our history is a mystery, MYSTERY, which is my story.
Totally agree. So my book, it talks about my life, and it's written in 9 chapters, but every chapter is an increment of 7 years.
Let me unbutton my bottom button, brother. This is getting heavy, man.
Chapter one is entitled, "Is God Really a Goddess?" Because when the baby is inside of the womb, because I don't never say birthday, I say born day. You were birthed.
I like that.
You were birthed when the sperm hit the egg.
So let me say this. So it's funny you say that, because my thought was always this, and I would keep it to myself because I know of the patriarchy that runs this thing and everything and the construct. But I always thought, how am I bigger than the person that carried me and delivered me? I always struggled with that fact. It's like, how am I bigger than her when I came through her matrix?
He's right. You was born into this matrix. You were born into
the womb being the matrix.
The womb being a matrix.
Yes.
The portal.
The portal.
That's why my book, you can't see the forest because of the trees.
Come on,
I had trees in the background. You can't see the forest because of the trees.
And you can't see the snakes because of the grass.
Oh my God. And I'm going into the portal. That's what Dad did. The Big Bang.
Come on, man.
He exploded into the portal.
Wait a minute. Say that again, y'all. Wait a minute. I want to make sure the audience don't miss this, man. He said, yes, there is a Big Bang. But what was it?
The Big Bang was when Dad was banging.
No pun intended.
No pun intended, but pun intended. And the Big Bang, you had a race to get to the egg.
Speaking of the sperm.
And so when the sperm is an astronaut, N-O-T, astronaut, big head, little tail, racing racing, filtering each other out, fighting each other to get to life.
Now watch this though. It wasn't really a race because his vibration was already set to go hit the egg and big bang.
Big bang. And when the sperm hit the egg, it's light around. It's an explosion.
The big bang.
Oh man, you know we just had what was that thing we just had a few months ago?
That's a lie because you don't have 2 of those in 7 years.
Thank you.
He's talking about the solar eclipse.
Thank you.
Because guess what they did on that? Speaking of, before we get off tangent, y'all, a super collider was activated on that night. So y'all stay tuned.
Are you talking about CERN? We'll get about that later.
Yes, we will.
Later.
But anyway, back
you must
to the sperm.
you must be concerned about CERN, but we're gonna talk about that later.
Let's get back to the egg and the sperm with the big bang.
With the big bang. So my book, as far as with is God really a goddess, and then it talks about my life, and each chapter is 7 years increments of my life.
Well, can you give people a little bit of your life? The part that people won't tell about their life. Can we get that?
Oh man, yes. I've been through things. I have been through things that brought me into this awakening. I've been through child abuse.
Let's go.
13 years of that. I was told I would never be nothing. So I know I had to do something with my life. From there, I always trying to win people, prove to people who didn't care about me, didn't give a F who I am.
Who else? Wait a minute. Who else told you you was nothing in indoctrination? You're a filthy rag.
That's right.
You're nothing. You're born of sin.
That's right. Indoctrination.
Let's go.
Religion. And so with that going through my life, and as I went through this maze of the journey of my life, yeah, I've been prison.
Okay.
Did in my life about 13 years of my adult life in prison, off and on. Been shot 5 times, 2 to the head, 3 to the body. Let's go. It don't stop.
Hey, man.
We don't die. We only multiply.
Wait a minute.
Only multiply, bro.
50 got hit 7 times. No, 7 times. 50 got hit 9 times. Pot got hit 7 times. You've been hit 2 times.
5 times.
5 times. I'm talking about to the dome, to the crown, to the chakra. 2 to the crown?
2 to the crown.
And you still here.
I'm still here.
Because of your purpose.
It has to be. See, when the sperm hit the egg and it lights up the egg, it's a lightness, shockwave energy. You know when your heart, 1, 2, the defibrillator with energy.
AED, clear.
Clear.
Boom.
What does the human nervous system look like? It's energy. It look like when the sky on the dome, when it's electrocuted, when the lightning come through, that's us. We're energy.
Speaking of,
why do you think the body is 98 degrees?
Speaking of the body, the spine is 33 vertebrae, which they associate with Jesus. And
yes, they did.
Let's go.
Yes, they did. It's Jesus, and in the fraternity, that's when you become frozen. But we're
that fraternity to talk about 33 degrees.
Oh, is that devil?
Let's go.
Master. When you become a master.
How you a master at 33 degrees when there's 360 degrees?
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. But also, not only 360 degrees, it's 360 times 2, so it's really 720 degrees.
And we ain't talking Tony Hawk.
And see, when you go into this 360 degree, because you got to go inside, as within, so without, as above, so below.
And so as inside is outside.
So when you go inside and go 360 degrees, you come back and you go 360 degrees again at 720 degrees.
Let's stop right there because that's a lot. Pause. Let's go.
Hey, when you're in this spirit of awakening,
the age of Aquarius.
We're not believing anymore. We're not. How do you spell it? B-E. What's in the middle of believe?
L-I-E.
Lie. Even. We are knowing. I mean, we have smart devices, ubiquitous in our lives today, and a lot of people are stuck on stupid.
You have just empowered me to say this because I've been saying it to my man's producer, and you can attest to this. I have been saying at some point I'm going to get bold enough to say I no longer need hope and faith.
You have the audacity to question your why. You have to question everything and everything that was taught.
I'm glad you said why, and here's why. I will no longer have to deal with hope and faith. Because hope and faith, the very definition of faith is the hope of the unseen. well, I have seen. So now I have something to fixate on. So I no longer need to hope. I do.
Man, that's amazing, because in Christianity, they told us, don't question God.
Because if you do, you're blaspheming.
It's right.
We'll burn women that do it. We'll call it heresy.
Heresy, yes. You understand? It's stuck to keep you stuck. It's programmed, it's indoctrinated to keep you stuck on stupid, not to use your critical thing. Why not question God? Did not Jacob wrestle with God? Woo! That's funny.
Ain't that something?
Wrestle with...
But you tell us not
with God?
Well, here's my thing. You had taught me about Babel, y'all, and I gotta say this in the age of Aquarius. My man said something to me, man, off camera. He said, man, we are Babel. God had came and cursed these people with different languages so they couldn't understand each other because they were trying to build a tower up. Well, what's happening in the age of Aquarius? It's the new Tower of Babel, because it's one language.
One language. One voice.
One voice trying to reach
energy. The
source.
And with that one language and one voice in the age of Aquarius, we're realizing, we're understanding and understanding that we are God.
Because if you were made in his image, let's go back. If you were made in his image, that means that what he is, he put in you.
That's right. You know, I'm glad you said that. I'm studying all books, all the religions. Quran,
Hindu.
And in the Quran, the Al-Kitab. In the Al-Kitab, which means mother of the books. Salam. Alhamdulillah.
Another female principle.
Mother of the books. It says in the book that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was molding human from, black mud. It's in the book. From black mud, Allah means the God, was molding the man. And when he molded man, he set man on a pedestal. So Satan said, are you going to create something that's going to cause mischief and bloodshed amongst the earth? And Allah said, I know what you know not. And the reason why God said that, the reason why the angels bowed down after God said that, because God took this human, H-U-E, man, to itself and breathed.
There's a very similar story.
Yes.
I think you are just referring to Ma'at, that the Egyptians in Hellenization called ISIS.
Yes.
That's the same story.
The stories have been regurgitated over. And don't you know, with floods, before the Noah flood, was thousands of floods. And when you realize, that's what I'm talking about, awakening. Question everything. Because when you start to go into this rabbit hole, you begin to dig deeper.
And stuff just don't make sense sometimes. You're like, wait a minute, that don't feel right.
At first, you're going to get mad. You're like, what the? I've been lied to.
And I'm hurt.
And first, you might get mad at your parent, but you have to understand, understand, maybe understand on this one.
Not understand.
They will lie to as well. They will lie to as well. And so, with them being lied to, they only regurgitate that same lies, prevarications back.
And I'm glad you said regurgitate, because that's very important, because there's a lot of cats that have this knowledge that we're speaking of today, but they only come on to regurgitate instead of interpretate. So here on Digging Too Deep, we want to make sure that y'all understand. I'm bringing him on so I can get my interpretation of this truth, because truth is only truth, but you have to interpret that truth for your life.
You have to find your truth. What is your truth?
My story, mystery, your story.
Find out who involved in your family. You ever notice, here's the deal. You ever notice that in our family, they said, well, you know, great-great-grandma was an Indian. We were already here. Engine. Find your story.
It's kind of like Indian. Comes from indigent.
Indigent.
Let's go. Indigent being we were already here. Columbus didn't discover something. He just found something.
He was lost.
That was already, and he wasn't even where he thought he was.
Right.
But I digress because I want to bring this back to the truth of the age of Aquarius. And I want to reiterate that you have been you were speaking of the age of Aquarius 3 decades ago, maybe 4 decades ago.
Well, it was just awakening, because I went through different steps different steps of my awakening.
Thank you.
I went through Christianity. I love me some Jesus. You better not talk about Jesus.
And I still love Jesus because I found out that he is not who they said he was.
I thought Jesus was coming back. I said through the cloud. Well, anyway.
Jesus didn't even want to be worshipped.
I'm like, then I start questioning things. I'm like, well, if Jesus is coming back, they've been saying that forever.
For generations.
Forever. Where are you? And so that's what broke my awakening stages, because I questioned God. I wrestled with God.
And found your understanding, your interpretation.
And then I went into Islam. Okay. I went into Nation of Islam, Black Islam. Oh, I love me some Malcolm X.
Me too.
I love me some Malcolm X.
Hey, speaking of Malcolm X, I want a lot of people to know that Malcolm X wasn't killed because we was talking about in the West. Malcolm X was killed because he went to the embassy and he was about to file charges on the United States.
For our human rights.
For holding
our human rights.
Prisoners of war.
That's right.
Let's go, but I digress. Let's go.
I got to say something on this right quick. Because here's the deal, man. They let you keep marching. We show civil rights. But when you go talk about our
that ain't no threat.
Our basic human right, he was a threat. They said this ninja got to go. And fast. So that what happened with that. So it was just steps. Certain steps I made throughout my awakening process to where I'm at today.
And probably still made some mistakes as you were progressing, because people, you have to understand, this is not an event.
It's a continuous.
This is a process. And you will digress. You will default when you don't know what to do because you've been indoctrinated. So you will default to the only thing you think you know. But that's part of the process.
And when you dig deep into it, speaking of the show, when you dig deep, you're deep and rooted. You're deeply enrooted.
Wait a minute. You're digging too deeply enrooted, baby.
Enrooted.
And so with that being said, we're going to go to another break. And so I can digest all of this too. And we'll be right back after these messages on Digging Too Deep. Thank y'all for tuning in to Digging Too Deep on the Marvel Not Network. If you like the content, then please like, share, and subscribe. And you can also catch us at www.marvelnotnetwork.com.
Show your support for the Marvel Not Network by purchasing a tee by scanning the QR code above.
Again, always appreciate when y'all hang in there with us, because it's a lot. And we thank y'all for coming back for the summary of this thing. Now, when we left, we were digging deep. And sometimes when you dig deep, you have to stop. So that's why I paused, so we can all try to digest some of this stuff. And now, for the summary, I'm going to let my brother, give me some, take us on home about this awakening.
In the audacity of woke. It starts out with the prologue, and I asked the question, what is woke?
Okay.
What is woke?
W-O-K-E.
Because the reason why I have to put that question up, because now they're demonizing woke.
How? Give us some examples of how.
You see what the Republicans saying, but they're demonizing woke. They said, well, woke is teaching your children that they can choose whatever sex. They turning the word around. It does not. Woke means like, hey, for you baby boomers, woke is like what it was to be hip.
The hippies.
The hippies were going against the government. You're meant to
through their mind with LSD.
Control, yes. And so they was against government. They was against the status quo, the machine. They was against the war. So that word has birthed and grew up into,
because you can't kill the energy. I got it. Woke. The energy of the hippie has come now to the woke.
Are you hip? That's why they say, are you hip?
Are you hip?
Now we say, are you woke? What else do we say? Do you feel me? Feel my energy?
I don't like his vibe.
I don't like when you walk in a room, you can feel like, man, something
about you. What is that?
Yeah. Oh man, so, are you okay? I feel your energy. With energy. You will woke your conscience.
I don't like his energy. It's too strong.
Oh.
He's a narcissistic.
He talk too much. He got too much energy.
He know everything.
But I do know error thing.
Ooh, he know error. ERROR.
So
things.
what is woke? And this is what I wrote. Just give a little bit. What is woke? Wikipedia describes woke as the term originated in the United States, referring to a perceived awareness of social justice and racial justice issues. It derives from the Black vernacular English expression, stay woke, whose grammatical aspect refers to a continual awareness of these issues. Yes and no. Yes and no.
Well, the best lies have some truth in them.
There's so much more to the meaning of being woke. It's understanding, overstanding that makes you woke.
And understanding. I learned that from you, my guy.
But it's understanding on a whole different level and a more robust sense of the concept of that word. Being woke is overstanding. It's overstanding. And you must get to this level of consciousness before you become woke.
Now, here's my interpretation of what he said thus far. When you get woke, there's levels to it because you can understand that, hey, man, that feels good to what I was wondering. Yet, I like to equate it to this. See, you can get woke, but see, some people are woke, but still in the bed.
Some people fake woke. Some people.
So let's go back to the basics.
5% know the truth, but they're not gonna. They can still live with the indoctrination because they don't want to be exposed. They want to keep living their little indoctrination, like
and apply it to their little situation.
Yes. But they around their little secret groups. They talk woke talk, but around the ordinary people,
The construct
around the con against struck. The etymology of words.
Instructed means you woke, right? Because it strikes you.
Overstanding is simply the individual's ability to recognize the power, purpose, energy, and resource that lie behind everything that you see, hear, smell, and touch.
The construct.
You see, if you seek to find precisely what lies behind all ideals, words, statements, conversations, objects, people, and inventions, past and present, expressed or unexpressed, you'll be seeking overstanding in its purest and rawest form. Do you now understand me?
Not only do I overstand you, brother, I understand and I appreciate you coming with the passion that you have, sir. And you know, we go back like Cadillac seats because your little brother, for the people, put this together. Because he believed, he went outside himself to say, hey, man, I know what energy, Devo Butler, Devin Butler, Miss Butler's son. We appreciate your principality, Miss Butler, for bringing his energy, which would bring his energy, which would bring our energy on.
Peace, y'all.
Digging too deep. I'm your host, Keith Robinson, with my very special mans in them, my guests, my guru, my muse, David Butler.
It's been an honor. It's been an honor to serve you. Thank you.
And we out.
Keith, why digging too deep? Well, I'm glad you asked. Digging too deep is simply a service to empower. So if I can prevent someone from experiencing some pain or help someone in any given situation, that is what digging too deep is for.